Googling facts over feeling.
What's up, everybody? It's JayCoffeeTalk back again with another video for you guys. Now, check it out. Today, we got a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
SPI, the most Easty Banger Doses one, aka No Brain, the BAYMAAC boy, the BAYMAAC boss, however you want to call it. Mr. Facts on Feeling, to keep it a Google. What it do, Coffee?
What's good? What's good, Spider? Thanks for checking in with me, man, and you know, blessing us with some of your time on the YouTube channel here.
Easy call.
So, first thing I really want to ask you, Spider Man, is since you know, you've been on Instagram more kind of heavier over the past year and everything, and you know, the YouTube channel, the Wake and Bakes, and you know how they've gotten a good response, have been really popular. I was just curious if, you know, kind of like how Joe Budden, like how he's like a podcaster now, he doesn't really rap, he's like retired from rap. Is that something that interests you, or are you more interested in just like banging out the music?
I'm pretty interested in just maximizing all opportunities, not necessarily trying to grab one to let the other down or trade one for the other. It's a lane that pretty much opened up to me unexpectedly. It was an organic development. I appreciate it. It's developing natural. It's something that I enjoy doing. I paid attention, did a little research on podcasts in general, and I've seen what Joe Budden still does. I am aware vaguely that he has stepped back from rapping. I think I heard him voice that in the Eminem controversy not too long ago. But I'm not attempting to mimic anything I've seen him do, or anyone in particular, even if there are similarities that are naturally drawn. It's just that we are orators, and typically when you have a gift of orating, there is more than one channel that you are able to manifest that gift in, and I just feel like it's a natural step going to how wide open media is these days, and content is being transferred and collected and shared, and it's just a natural progression of what society is doing these days.
Yeah, most definitely. It's pretty interesting the way, like how you said, organically, like it just came like that. It's kind of, that's kind of, you know, a lot of times like the negative of the social media area gets brought up, but you know, there's a lot of positives to it as well, you know, like making connections and just, you know, like you said, it wasn't something you originally intended, but it's really caught on. Like the Wake and Bakes, man, is super popular. I mean, you know, you play new music for everybody, and uh so what's going on with the music, with the deal with Cleopatra and everything like that? What can
Shout
we
out Brian Pierre and Cleopatra. We currently in the process of getting the Illiterate EP completed. First single that we want to release here sometime early this first quarter. It's featuring Angela Mazzetti and E40. And I'm pretty excited about that. We got big things planned. Cleopatra, they plan to get behind the project and take partnership with us. Brian Pierre, he's
Oh, I lost you there.
okay. Can you hear me?
No, I lost you for a second, but I got you back now.
We just gonna we gonna get behind this Illiterate EP and make an event of it, and get out here on this roll with this, we got the getting your loco on record. That's also get us some traction. Then we're gonna shoot a movie to that soon as well. But shout out Brian Pierre and Iceman Omar 2019. We expect big things from the Illiterate project.
That's what's up. What was the name of that single you said with E40 and who else?
Angela Mazzetti.
Okay.
She's a female. Y'all gotta go check her out, do some research on her. She's pretty dope. She's a white chick.
Nice. And she's rapping, or she's just on there like?
Yeah, she's an MC.
Oh, nice.
She's a rapper. Her other, like I was saying, Brian Pierre, he's the owner of the label, and he's like really more saturated, having success in other genres. It's like some heavy metal, some rock, alternative. Hip hop is not necessarily his forte.
Right,
But
right.
by partnering with Cleopatra, I've been exposed to some other artists that are pretty refreshing. And this girl looks like she might be a rocker.
Yeah.
Spitting bars. She got real flow.
Yeah, have you like something that people have been saying a lot lately, like what you were just saying there kind of brings it to mind with me about, like, I don't know if you've kind of heard people, like, the narrative has kind of been that with a lot of rappers like newer in the game, with the newer generation, they're kind of comparing them to like punk rockers, I guess, as far as like their style and maybe the way they do the music. You know what I mean? Like with like they rap, but they also have like that melodic kind of singing, I guess you could call it. Um,
Right.
you what do you think about that? Like you're all for, the
So I really feel like, I have no place to speak on that one way or the other. It's different from what I do.
right, right.
Um, I can appreciate it in its appropriateness, whatever time it is. I'm
Oh, I lost you again there, Spider.
I'm just personally,
Oh, I think I lost you again. The connection's kind
hello?
of, yeah, yeah, I hear you now. Oh man, it faded out again. Sorry guys, we're having a little technical difficulties, but don't worry. You there? Oh no, it's like it's real quiet.
I don't know. I ain't do
Oh,
nothing
I
on this
got you
one.
now. I got you now. Yeah, just some technical difficulties, people. No worries. We're gonna continue. No? Oh man, I don't know what happened. I lost you again.
I don't know what's happening with the phone, man. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't even touching the phone.
Yeah, sometimes these phones act funny like that, man. But
Can you hear
yeah,
me now?
yeah, I hear you perfect now. You were the
Okay.
last thing before I lost you was you were just saying how I believe you were saying you don't like you don't not like it, you don't
Oh,
like it like you
it's not like I have a preference as to what they should be doing
right,
and if they should be doing that or not. Me, as a listener or me as a contributor to the culture, my whole interest in hip hop came with an attraction to vocabulary and lyrics and content and rhyme structure and style. So that's
right,
just kind of like what I appreciated, the elements that intrigued me. Now, some of those elements are missing from a lot of the current hip hop music, but they have added other elements. So whether it's my preferred style or type, it's popping. And I salute to the motherfuckers that with the black entrepreneurial spirit of reaching in your soul and creating something from nothing and being successful. I salute that regardless if it's identical to the way I would do it or not.
right. Facts. It is pretty amazing how like what hip hop has evolved into. You know what I mean? Over the years,
Indeed.
it's definitely
Indeed.
branched out and touched so many people.
Are you in Fort Myers?
Yes, yes, I am.
Yeah, I know that area code. Rest
Yeah,
in peace, Russ Whitney Jr., man. You familiar with the Whitneys?
no, no. I've only been here about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm originally out of Buffalo, New York.
Okay. Oh, you get back on subject.
All right. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of bouncing around here. With yeah, so with the Cleopatra though, will we see any other like do you have plans of like putting on any other artists? Just why I ask is because with Payback, man, I was like a huge fan of Payback's music and just curious to know if we'll see any, other artists that you plan
Well,
on.
as far as plan, I don't have a plan in place. Intentions, they're unlimited and possibilities well. So we don't really know what the future's hold. We want to get this first thing off the ground, experience some success, and then start seeing what the next move is going to be.
Right, right. Yeah, so kind of same thing. You just kind of like to take like with the organically the way things develop. That's kind of how you do things, or
Say it again, Kobe. I didn't quite catch you. Say it again.
oh, I was saying when we were like your answer there when we were speaking on kind of like the thing with the podcast, and it's just kind of like the way things develop
Right.
organically. That's kind of how you rock, right?
Right. I mean, it's the way progress seems to happen toward me. I may go out with an executed, calculated plan, and it might not be that successful, but it seems like throughout my journey, as long as I'm physically or actively pursuing something, progress will come from a way I didn't even expect. So even with the Cleopatra situation, I was not actively seeking a situation such as the situation I had with Cleopatra. I stepped out to actually to an event at a venue, and bumped into an old affiliate, Omar the Iceman. And when I bumped into him, he said, "Spider, I got a check for you." And after rekindling our connection and chopping it up and talking, after a couple of meetings later, there was a check cut, and I had a partnership at Cleopatra. So it was like that's how shit happened. I was going out to network at a concert for other purposes, and I ran into that deal. So I just feel like in my journey personally, the blueprint has not always worked for me, but the energy of getting up, going out to go get it has always had me come back with something. So I just go get it.
Yeah, I relate to that so much. Like, constantly I have people, that I may work with or other things like that. And when they like ask me about things a lot, like as far as my plans, I'm kind of the same way. And it's just when I just kind of, I don't have my focus. Like I'm always focused, but you know what I mean? When you just kind of let things develop, man, it's like the possibilities are endless. You know what I mean?
Right,
Um,
right. I agree.
with I wanted to ask you too, like when with Instagram and everything, like I remember back in the day you had spiderlope.com, which was like, in my opinion, man, it was like you were way ahead of your time as far as like where people could communicate with you, fans and things like that. Um, and then when I just got up with you, like started following you on Instagram, I want to say maybe like a year ago. I believe originally you had another account that might have got
Yeah, a
shut
couple.
down or had.
I've been to a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. Where like before that, I feel like there was kind of like a hiatus, you know what I mean? And then when I saw you on social media and the Doggy Diamonds podcast the first time, like when you were there in person and everything, and you
Right.
kind of spoke in depth about a lot of topics and everything like that. Prior to that, like with the hiatus, were you just kind of like, were you still active making music, like recording music and
Not
things like that?
consistently. Not consistently here and there. Someone will reach out and request a feature, or I might get real creative out of the blue and just find myself doing something. But I have basically kind of stepped back. Not only do I have two 10-year-old sons who are not twins, I also have a 12-year-old son. So if you look at the gap of that hiatus time that you're speaking of, it was kind of like hands-on building a foundation for my young man seeds. Also, somewhat conflicted on how do I be Spiderloaf while I'm trying to set an example for them. And it was just kind of hard for me to exist in that exact same aura that I had been carrying myself in for quite some time while I was living my life as an example for three young men. And after they got into adolescence age where I set a pretty good foundation of right and wrong and let them get an idea of the young men that they aspire to be, I made them informed and aware that professionally I'm a pretty good gangster rapper. And I asked for their permission is, can they goofy daddy go ahead and put this costume on
Right.
and get this check? And they gave me permission. So I feel more comfortable um, reverting to some of my old postures while they're watching once they know I'm doing it intentionally for a purpose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's deep right there, man. Like not anyone in general, but just like when it comes to like people, celebrities and entertainers and things like that, athletes, people making music, like so often, like I said, it's just the general observation. Like a lot of times the family life suffers, you know what I mean? Because they're on the road or working all the time. So that's pretty dope, man, that you were able to do that like that, like.
And I really appreciate the opportunity to do so, and I am very grateful that I actually took the opportunity to do so and build that bond with my young men because the living situation, I've lived in the same household with all my sons at one point or another, and at this point, I don't live with either of them. And had I not spent the last decade really just linking in and locking in with them and making sure they know that we know who one another are and we love each other dearly, I would be probably insecure as to what type of relationship the future holds for me and my sons. But based on this last decade, just being real natural and just being around each other almost constantly, the separation and the distance that we experience now is like really it's of no consequence, because if I never spent another whole weekend with any of my children, I can almost calculate that I've spent more time with mine than my father ever spent with me, and me and my father are best of friends. So it's just, I'm just glad, sometimes you look at experiences in the journey and you don't understand at every stage why certain things aren't manifesting the way you wish they would, and then you get a little deeper into the journey and you start appreciating the process. You can look back and say, oh, I'm so glad this happened this way. I thought I wanted this and I thought I wanted that. I've just really learned recently, Coffee, to live in the reality of what is, accept what I can't change, and appreciate everything that I encounter, because, nothing is guaranteed, man. And I remember going to the cemetery a couple years ago. Rest in peace to my brother Turtle, G Unit Crip. And when I went to the cemetery, I took the opportunity to ask the lady working behind the desk. I say, how do you manage being at this type of environment all day, every day, dealing with this type of energy?
Yeah.
And the lady she had such a peaceful countenance on her whole face and her whole presence. She said, baby, let me tell you, the one thing working here has taught me. I'm like, what's that? She said, there is nothing under the sun worth being upset about.
That, man, yeah, that is deep, man. You're a pretty spiritual person, Spider?
Spiritual. I'm very spiritual, totally non-religious.
Right.
But I know that the realms of reality are deeper than what we can see and hear, and I need no man's literature, manuscript, or his perspective to tap me into the Creator. Something I've learned recently. I've been indoctrinated. I've been a student of certain sects and doctrine and religions and denominations, and you grow up being programmed to think that this is what is necessary for you to have an understanding of God. And then when you just really have the opportunity to be freed and break it down and simple, if God was able to communicate with the very first man without any help, he can do the same with me. I don't need to know what nobody else has to say about him. I'll just take it. I'll trust that he can get his message directly to me. I don't want to read your book. I read it. Okay. You know God. Well, I'm going to just let you know I know him too. Cool. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like similar, like that we're closer to God or our creator than we might originally think,
Yes.
With real quick, I just wanted to share this with you. Something that you said there was I have a friend right now who's battling cancer, and he, like how you were talking about that woman, like it was very enlightening to you at the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Mm-hmm.
he's battling cancer right now, and he's just so positive, but he's a mortician, you know what I mean? And I kind of hit him with the same question almost once, like, man, that has to be like, how do you work? And he was like, it's like kind of the same thing that you said that woman said to, like,
Mm-hmm.
as far as mortality and spirituality and everything. But
Yeah.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah, it's very interesting, man, when we kind of just, like you were saying, just organically in free thinking and everything, and things when we grow in life, I can relate to that. Like things just kind of come into
How
picture.
how can a human being stand up and tell us, hey, God appointed me messenger to tell you? All right. I mean, like, even if that's true, it's true. But, I mean, how can you substantiate it? Who can confirm it? I'm cool, bro.
Right,
I'm cool.
absolutely, man. Um, kind of switching up right here. That was really deep though, man. This is, you guys hear it out there. This is exclusive content here with Spider, man. You're very. It sounds like
Hey,
you're.
shout out Jay Coffee. He got the BAYMAAC on the end of his name now, but I want to, prior to us partnering up and becoming on the same media team, I've watched and witnessed this dude be consistent with his platform for quite some time. I have a challenged brother in Arizona named Derek, who has, amongst the things, cerebral palsy and schizophrenia. He doesn't tap into reality too often, but through his PlayStation 4, he stays pretty abreast of my activities on YouTube. And for some reason, your logo and your name is what he associated with all my activity on YouTube. So I've always appreciated whatever, before we actually met through cyber world and now on the telephone, I've always appreciated your little yellow logo because it was the way my little brother was able to identify me on the web. So shout out to you for your grind, my nigga.
Oh, thank you, man. I was unaware of that, man. That's what's up. I'm glad. I'm like thankful, that I was able to,
He
that.
said in his mind, the way he saw it, you posting my content, in his mind, me and you work together. Jay Coffee, that's your boy, yeah. I'm
Oh,
like, okay.
that's
I'm
what's
like,
up,
yeah,
man.
that's my boy, yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. Uh, you're really, it sounds, just from speaking to you, man, it sounds just like you're very, at this point in your life, like you're just very, like you're just in a really good place, you're very blessed and just taking things as they come. Like we're, like, it almost is kind of the theme of this, interview, like just taking things organically and, you know, rolling with the punches and learning lessons and everything like that. Like, I don't know, you just sound very, very, like you're in a very great place. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think life, we learn, and if we're not learning out of life, we're losing. So, yes, I've been anxious. I've been over involved in a lot of things throughout the years, but I've gotten to a point where you really start realizing a lot of things are vain. Being a parent, I think it also gives you more practicality to your priorities. Shit, my most sincere wishes and desires are not even for myself anymore. They're for other human beings. I want to see good things for my children more so than anything. And as being real, knowing you have a responsibility, it's time to get dirty. Get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, and get at it. So I've created quite a few responsibilities in the terms of children, and I think I owe them all the world. So I'm out here trying to take the world, not for myself, but for them.
Yeah, man. It's definitely balancing that balance in life. Like, I don't know. It's like you said, man. If you're not learning, you're losing. It's in my years, growing older, I'm realizing the same thing as well. Like
I
it's.
remember when I was in prison, a female friend of mine, she used to write me, and I remember she sent me a poem one time, and I think I ran across this poem later in life too. But I remember back then it resonated with me. She was like, there are growing men that are growing, men that have grown, and men that will grow. She was like, there is no such thing as a grown man because the essence of life itself is growing. And any man who has become full grown while he's still alive has died too soon. And that shit just stuck with me. Like, living is growing, learning, adding to what's already the total sum of what you are. And as long as you tap into that and you're continuously getting more and becoming more, not necessarily material-wise, but knowledge-wise, spiritual-wise, patience-wise, and things of that nature. Anything you can share with the next generation, any token, any jewel, with all the religious training I've had, with all the indoctrinations that I've been programmed with, I come out with just this simple truth. And I figured I could have skipped a lot of the lessons they tried to program me with and just told me this. Do unto others as you had them do unto you.
Yeah, that golden rule.
Hey, bro, it's that simple, my nigga.
Yeah.
Hey, you know the type of shit you don't want to experience, so don't put that out. That's easy.
Yeah, I agree. And they teach us that in kindergarten.
I think, I think it's in our DNA as human beings. Maybe not as infants,
But once, you don't even have to teach them that. Put a bunch of people in the same room, let them start stepping on each other's feet and shit. Motherfuckers gonna start understanding. Ouch, 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 excuse me. Yeah, that's gonna happen naturally, bro.
Absolutely, yeah. It's crazy, man, the way, like, just the journey of life and the things we learn, and the way it's just, I don't know, man, like spirituality and everything we're talking about, it just comes so clear, and carrying that positive message on, and like you said too, sharing with the next generation. That's a big thing with me too, with my children and everything, because I got a 19 and 18-year-old son, and then now I have a 11-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. So it's like, they're grown, and then it's just, you know what I mean? Everything comes full circle, like, basically.
I have children in all those same age brackets too, and that's just what I was trying to describe as the motivation for change. It's not even like they motivate you to make change. It's just a natural process of you adjusting to be what you need to be for them. There's only certain shit you can't tolerate from yourself because it's no good for them.
Right.
And when you have a decent spirit, you naturally make those adjustments. You don't even have to decide to do it.
Yeah, I want to shout out. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Somebody just walked up on. I was doing an interview, guys. On the interview. Good. And then, no, this is a blogger I'll be fucking with. He just, we on the phone. Okay. Good. I'll be right here, bro. My bad.
Oh, no, you good, man. You good. I kind of like how we're just, I kind of like how this interview, it's like real like that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just sat down and like it's just natural. You know what I mean? Like catching you as you're out moving around or whatever. It, once again goes with that organic theme that this interview has had. I want to shout out to my son Joey. He just left. He went back to the Army. He got to come visit us for the holidays. He on his way.
Good.
He back.
Joey, man, appreciate your service, man.
Yeah, he's a fan too, so he'll get a kick out of. He's a fan of you, so he'll get a kick out of hearing. Because he had been telling me too, man, tap in with Spider-Man, get him on the channel. Because he's been following me. Unfortunately, my old channel got deleted, but it ain't a thing, man. We'll get back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we gonna bounce back. That ain't shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So
I lost a couple of channels though. I don't want to just make light of it. I know that shit's sting. I know the feeling, but bounce back is real, my niggas.
Yeah, man. I'll be stronger around this time. And that's how you seem, man, like kind of just everything we've been talking about, where we didn't see you for a while and you're back and you just seem so, like I said, in a good place and enlightened, man. The music too, man. The music is really cool. I liked how you dropped that Lost Tapes too, because it's like got the vibe of the old, like things we didn't get to hear. And yeah, man, there's some fire on there. Like some songs I were unaware of on that project, and it's just cool. Like we get to look back at the same time. You know what I mean? Looking back in that era.
Right. Yeah, the hiatus, it kind of ended toward the end of 2017, and it just kind of set me up to start the year off with a blast from the past. And once again, it was kind of organic. It wasn't a plan or a plot. Follow up with all the original, current, contemporary production sounding records that are on politicking. And now I didn't realize that whole year was going to play out, and that was kind of like what we did this year. And now we're scheduled last year to start this year off with an even more progressive sound of contemporary, newer music that's more into my personal taste, because the politicking record, as much as it's my music, is Spider Loc. I'm more of a SPI type nigga these days. You know what I'm saying? Spider Loc, SPI. SPI is more of a like reform side of Spider Loc. So it literally will be more of a SPI feel versus the politicking album.
Okay. I see. I was unaware of that. That's going to be really interesting to see that project drop, man. I know a lot of people are waiting too, because it's just been dope. Like when that hiatus ended, how you've been so active, like social media and everything, and how you kicking it with the fans and everything, and we get to see kind of like your progress and you know what I mean, as far as you making
Right.
music and everything. Because first, like before, I believe, like before Instagram was around, like just Twitter and everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like we didn't always see that much from you on there, right?
No, like during that hiatus time, like I say, the boys are between 10 and 12. I had kind of like became non-existent on social media. Um, Social media had become more like a personal thing. When I
Right,
was more involved with social media as an artist, it was a platform that we were on, and then it was more like the general public was tapping in to communicate and observe what we had going on. During a period of time when Twitter became popular, it seemed like everybody started turning the cameras on themselves, and I just wasn't interested on being on social media just to be having fun.
right,
What happened when I came out of the hiatus and decided to take music serious and make a push, anybody that has any type of understanding of what's going on is going to advise you have to have a social media presence. So based on coercion and people telling me you got to, I just jumped on social media like, okay, I got to. I was never. If you look at my shit now, it's still not because of a personal interest in social media. I'm on social media because I need to have a presence. That's my 100% interest in social media. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I don't give a fuck about what nobody got going on. I just have people in my media department right now advising me that it's wise to follow
right,
people in order to get my numbers up. I will follow nobody because I don't give a fuck about what nobody else do. I'm content just existing within my peace and with my projects and my progress. I'm not hating on nobody. And as I encounter shit randomly, that's good enough for me to appreciate it. For me to be tapped in, following people, really trying to keep up, I don't give a fuck.
right.
I
It's
just don't.
Yeah, time is too precious, you know what I mean? A lot of people is very wrapped up in social media where they're reporting like every moment of their of their life on there, and it's almost like I don't want to say a sickness, but like a addiction or disease for some people, you know what I mean?
No, it's definitely been classified in the upper octavite and via society as an addiction. They have an actual term for it. I don't know how to call it right off the top of my head.
Right,
But yeah, people really get addicted to the reaction. And I'm not saying that I don't have an addiction to some extent, but my addiction is more to the fact of I need to build. I need to build what I have going on. I'm addicted to seeing the progress. I don't give a fuck to seeing what nobody else got going on. I don't like stagnation. So if I'm in the process of building anything, I like to analyze it and observe whether or not it's progressing. And when I do see that progress, it's fulfilling. Social media or anything else.
yeah, absolutely. Just getting the best out of it, like it progress wise and everything. I feel you on that, absolutely, man. Um, I wanted to ask you too. I remember seeing, like I said, when a little while back, I believe, I'm not sure if it was when that hiatus was going on or whatever, but that you had spent some time in Haiti. Um, that was
Yeah,
you were
I won't
helping
say
out.
time like for it was a week, 8 days, I believe. I was on a mission trip with the Father's Wish Foundation. My boy Damon Leggett, constituent of ours, actually runs a hospital in Haiti, and because they were in such dire need, my brother Damon Leggett, he's a philanthropist, and he has an organization called the Father's Wish Foundation, and I was invited to travel with them to Haiti to with another group called what was it? It was something for the soul, but it was a play on the soul word. But they gave shoes, and the shoes it was also they bought the soul. It was like food for the soul, but it was like we donated like 2,500 pairs of shoes. We helped do some construction at the hospital. They had very, very, very primitive and poor conditions there. It was a very humbling experience to go to Haiti, my nigga. I've never seen nothing like that shit. They have nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing.
I've never really been out of the country, but from working and here where I live in Fort Myers, a lot of people like Haitian people live in the area, and
Right.
from working with them and speaking with them, they tell me that it's tough over there. Um,
Right.
what when you so when you had went there, this one of the storms had already hit.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. It's post the storm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Prayers out to Haiti, man. It's just like so tragic. I remember that. I feel like a few storms over the past few years have hit there, and
Yeah, it seems like you always hear about some type of tragedy coming in.
oh, you faded out again for a second there.
I say it always. You always seem like you hear about some type of tragedy coming to Haiti.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What America is like, nowadays a lot of people, I mean, which is like, with our freedom of speech are very vocal about this country, and we there definitely is a lot of injustice that goes on, but one thing, just that, you know what I mean, just that we have uh shelter and things like that, as opposed to like third world countries and everything. It's I can only imagine the experience of going and experiencing that, in person. Like you said, very
Right.
humbling.
Yeah, culture shock.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I kind of felt a culture shock moving from New York, from Buffalo to Fort Myers. Just, way of life is different, but so I can only imagine, going out of the country to a place that's been devastated like that.
Yeah, I don't even. I mean, if I took the effort to get graphic and just try to paint the idea of what I saw, man, it's ridiculous. So yeah, it just makes me grateful for the nothing that we have over here. We think we struggling and we stretching and we want more, man. We are overly rich. We have too much. We have an excess of everything. I don't care if you live in the project. You have an excess. You better
Right.
believe it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I don't want to hold you up too more, Spider. I know you're a busy man, but one thing I wanted to ask you about, I had heard it recently where you were speaking in an interview, and I was totally unaware of this till lately, and I found it so intriguing because back during the G Unit days, like, um, through different mixtapes and things where I was hearing you, and I heard you on like the Get Rich or Die Trying soundtrack, had a couple bangers on there. I was waiting, you know what I mean? As a lot of the fans were too, were like, we want that Spider Loc. I was interested to hear that about the whole thing where Mac 10 I believe it was Mac 10 that got a hold of you to try to release the album through an outlet that he had. That was the West Kept Secret album.
Shout out Mac 10, the homie Inglewood Mac 10. Yeah, it wasn't like a specific album that was discussed. What it was a situation where Beautiful World was a very hot record, especially local on the radio and everything. And Mac 10, myself, and E40, a couple of other people that you're familiar with, share the same lawyer. And because of the fact that we shared the same lawyer, one day, I guess through Mac 10 reaching out to Bob Lieberman, shout out Bob, got my number, and I got a phone call from one of my mentors, someone I looked up to, one of my favorite rappers of all time from the West Coast who had not met. Mac 10 called me, complimenting me on my record and inquiring as to what was 50 Cent and G Unit's intentions on my project, because I was obviously on the back burner, and he proposed that if I could communicate to 50 Cent, if he's not sure exactly what he's going to do with it, won't 50 allow Brian Turner and Mac 10, who are business partners, to put the project out, and 50 can leave the G Unit stamp on it, and they'll do a partnership, which in translation is it was a six-figure budget brought to the table that was willing to merge and match funds with what 50 had planned in order to make my project, whatever we was going to title it, go through. And Mac 10 proposed this to me under the obvious assumption that I would be able to get him on the phone or to arrange a conversation or at least a meeting with 50 Cent quite easily, which I assumed I would be able to do too. I was able to communicate to 50 Cent with Mac 10 as suggested. 50 Cent's response was, sounds like a good idea, but what's the plan? I didn't quite know the plan, but Mac 10 and Brian Turner knew the plan, but I could not get 50 to take a conversation in order for it to get discussed. And like I said, a couple other people have the same lawyer through my reference. G. Malone also has the same lawyer. And shortly after, I was not able to connect the dots with 50 taking the meeting with Fat 10, with Mac 10. Mac 10 decided to go ahead and do a venture with G Malone. And if you remember, back in that time, they had a venture where they were partnered up, and it was obvious that they was on the scene together. That budget, however, was a budget that was offered to me and 50 Cent first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a shame, man, because like I said, it's a reality, man, that people were really feeling, that, like you said, Beautiful World, man, was like, I don't know, what do you want to call it, viral, everything. It was making noise, man. It was making noise out there. And like I've heard you say multiple times, that video really did look like $1 million, man. Who shot that?
Shout out Dan the Man and Big Trap, a.k.a. Crash. They co-directed the video. 50 Cent himself called me and told me, yo, B, you got a joint, B. Look like you spent $250,000 on that video, B.
Right.
That's what I did. That's what I did with less than $10,000. I impressed him to the extent that he said it looked like $250,000. And he still didn't follow through with his marketing plan that he described for me when he made that phone call. He has the most horrible follow through that I've witnessed for a CEO in the rap game. Follow through is terrible.
Yeah, I've aside from you, I've seen it with other artists that he had, that maybe I don't know, like 20% of them or something might have actually put a project out. You know what I mean?
If they weren't connected to the initial wave of success, it was kind of like fruitless. You know what I'm saying? He took his business. When you mentioned that Doggy Diamond interview around that period of time, I made a post on my page referring to him hating on me on the video, and he responded trying to defend his position, and he utilized other artists' names in making his point, but really he put his foot in his mouth because all he did was prove
he reiterated your point.
They had to get the fuck away from you for something to go right for them too. So it's just all at the end of the day. It is what it is. You live and you learn. I wasn't even mad about the lack of success or the lack of experience. I had accepted the fact that it was over without him telling me it was over. It was all cool. I didn't harbor no bad feelings. I wasn't going to be out here on a slander campaign against 50 Cent. But he opened his mouth and lied on me. Not only did I tolerate and accept him telling the fans years ago that I was not an interesting conversation topic and I had no interest in music, he turned around and told motherfuckers I didn't deliver when he know goddamn well. He told me, Puto, Turtle, and everybody else that was present that my album was ready for the shelves, $16.99, ready to go, long before it was expected to be ready. Motherfuckers know I shot Parole with Master P, Ernest Thomas, and delivered that to him, and he had intentions on purchasing the film. The Beautiful campaign, there is no other artist ever associated with him who has ever constructed any type of movement that is comparable to the Beautiful movement ever. Every record ever associated with G Unit that experienced any success was fully serviced. He was hands-on, participated in not only the production of the record, but in the promotion of the record. He was in the video. There was a budget behind it. There is no record like Beautiful World affiliated with G Unit, period, except maybe I Just Want to Be as fair to everybody as I possibly can, Beamer, Benz, and Bentley, and that was way down the line. And I still believe there was more of a structured effort behind that record than ever came behind mine. So, shout out Crayola for finally tapping in. The universe is just
the Beautiful Crayon, right?
Thank you, my nigga.
Yeah, that organic theme, like I keep bringing up, when at that time, like you were just saying, Beautiful, Paroled. I remember you were on the 300 Shots. You had a couple songs on mixtapes we were all hearing. Not to get into, but you had those when you were beefing with Game. Those songs had a big buzz on the mixtape circuit. People were like, who is it? And then you're on The Source. All this stuff, it's like only organic that project come out. And I'm telling you, a lot of us fans feel I don't know if rob's the right word, but we never got to things didn't play out organically. They did, and then at the end, there was a halt on that. But it's just got to be frustrating. Like I can just relate to, like you said, you weren't harboring any feelings. It is what it is. But when people don't communicate things to you, like just tell me that's what it is. That's my
But I
thing.
didn't even harbor any feelings about the lack of communication. It was when he went out and misrepresented what happened to the public and just
Right.
he also took it upon himself to put out a video of me fighting at the gas station when it looked like I wasn't at my best, and it seemed as if he was attempting to make a mockery of the situation. So you can tap in and show me that type of interest, but you tell people I'm not an interested subject to speak about. And then when the subject comes up and you hate me on the video, hating on me, you turn around and say, I didn't deliver. Now that's a bold-faced motherfucking lie. Fuck you flying on me, you bitch-ass nigga.
Yeah, you crossed the line with that.
I over-delivered on Crip. I did the exact opposite.
Well, with the fans and the hip hop heads, man, like everyone knows what's up as far as, because that was something like I was speaking on with this the hiatus and then you and with IG. People were always just amongst hip hop heads, like blunt talk when you're passing the blunt, when you're talking music, people were always like, yo, what the Spider Loc? You know what I mean? Like, it's so.
He didn't like that.
Nah.
The first record I ever recorded and put out into the public when I was affiliated with G Unit was a record for a video game, John Madden. It was nominated.
Oh, Angry, right? When I Get Angry? Yes, I remember that.
Was nominated for the biggest award available at the VGA that year. I was nominated against none other than 50 Cent for the Bulletproof video game that had not been released yet. And guess who won the award, my nigga?
Oh, you beat him out?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Bothered him so much. He got up in front to receive his award, and while he was receiving the award, he told the audience the award really belongs to me, and he called me up and gave me the award.
Okay.
I really don't trust the integrity of how he even received the award, because if anybody knows how to check the dates, because video game hadn't even came out yet, so I don't even know how it was even considered for the award.
Yeah, that sounds like some politics there.
Yeah, it was fishy, bro. It was fishy. But that's the type of success my work was experiencing from the jump. It was not like I did the record for the check. Had no idea that there was even awards for the VGAs. So me just did the record. They gave you so many requirements. They had so many restrictions on what type of music they wanted back in those days. You couldn't reference no money, nothing like hustling, no kind of drugs. So you still had to make a aggressive record. It was like real challenging. So I just wanted to hurry up, meet the requirements, turn the record in, get my check. And I was nominated for the biggest award of the night. And that's just the type of response my music generally gets. So for the motherfucker to say I didn't deliver, you're a motherfucking fool.
Yeah, that Madden record was tough, man. Shout out Madden, man. They always have had some good artists on there.
Yeah.
Wale, I believe, Bump J. I'm just, because I was a Madden head.
I'm gonna have to wrap it up.
Yeah, we can, no doubt, man. I appreciate the time. Anything you want to say to people before we close it out?
No, hey, Illiterate 2019 coming soon. Block Sheet, SPI in Eastwood coming 2019. The Council, the Film Writers for Life 2019. The Black Box is cracking. We got the Bottom Line podcast. We got the Indie Hour with me and Big Trap, a.k.a. Crash from Trap LA. And we got the Morning Waking Bass going down. Just stay tuned. We Spine Loc Most Easty at all social media. Be active. Be about your money at all costs. Don't be about nothing. Appreciate you, Coffee.
No doubt. Appreciate you too, my man. All right, everybody. Stay tuned. 2019 going to be a big year. We out of here.
Google Gang.
Google Gang. Peace.
Peace.